reading Tatiana Maslany's character, basically how to be a Hulk, and she is taking to Hulkism, I think, a little bit better than Bruce, and there's kind of like that comedical like jealousy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's like it's happening so easily. What was that like to film?
Well, first of all, I was jealous of Maz because it did come so easy to her. I mean, I've been wearing this suit now for, God, 10 years, more than 10 years. And, but it was also, you know, putting that suit on is different than other kinds of acting. And so I could see she was really nervous about it and nervous about that technology. So I was kind of like teaching her a little bit how to do it. And then she was like better than me instantly. And so it wasn't very much acting. We had so much fun because a lot of that sequence is improvised. And we were just goofing off and playing the whole time. You know, it's cool to have this woman, you know, come in and taking this part of Hulk. And, you know, for her to find it her own way and kind of make fun of the mansplaining and like, which I think a lot of women have to deal with a lot. And we think we're really helping you. It's totally sincere where we're coming from, even if it's misguided slightly. But you know, the great thing about that show is it takes all that and it kind of sends it up in a really funny and sweet and mostly harmless way.
And we kind of opened by talking about you returning as Bruce Banner over the years. And so I do want to ask next, have there been any roles that you played in the past that if ever given the opportunity, you would love to return to?
I guess doing another magic movie would be fun. You know, Now You See Me. Yes.
So good. Who said it?
That would be really fun to do again. I think, what was that? I was gonna go there. I think we're heading that way. Go ahead, Maddie. Yeah, Maddie, going on 30. Jen and I did the Adam Project together, which was kind of like Maddie and Jen having a baby. That was a lot older than the dad, because I'm actually younger than Ryan Reynolds. And so that was weird. But yeah, we were joking that it would be really fun to do a sequel to, and it's time to do a sequel to 13 going on 30, which would be 15 going on 55. Would you like that?
Yeah!
I think we would too. We were talking about it. So, I mean, whoever's out there listening in the world, if you want to do another 13 going on 30, you have 2 actors that are game.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it. Veronica, can you make it happen?
No pressure. So, a famous person once said, "It ain't easy being green." And after being green for like 10 plus years, what do you think? How has the journey overall been playing Hulk for you?
I mean, it's been amazingly, it's just been amazing fun and really challenging and always surprising. Even to the point where we were shooting Infinity War and Hulk was supposed to come busting out of the Hulk Buster at the end. I don't know if you know that. And we shot that, and we shot it like 4 times and it wasn't working. And then we realized that, well, the brothers realized that that we couldn't have Hulk again, like save the day. That we had to have Banner sort of lose without Hulk. And that, that was the kind of thing where it was in the script one way for 2 years. And then when we got in to shoot it, we decided that it would be better for the story if Hulk doesn't show up. And Banner has to somehow make friends with him, get him back. And, but that's been kind of how these things have evolved. And so they're always surprising in some new way, even when you're down to the very last moment and you're shooting the end of the movie and you keep coming back. I mean, we shot that scene like 5 times over the course of a year. Me, by myself, in the Hulkbuster. And yeah, we were always working on getting it right. And that's been one of the differences of any other movie you shoot, is that we're always kind of finding it as you go along. You have so many people and so many storylines that you're trying to interweave together. And what Marvel does beautifully is they're really looking for what's going to have the greatest impact with you guys. And so what's been really good about working on these movies is just how alive they are and how much the actors are actually bringing themselves to it. Before we shoot any of these movies, we're always sitting down with Feige and he's sort of like, what do you guys want to do in this next round? Where would you like to go? What would you like to see happen? And I think that keeps it really lively and interesting. And lively and interesting for you, and lively and interesting for us, which is what makes good cinema, I think.
Now let's talk about rom-coms.
All right.
Here we go.
Sorry guys, this is like getting dragged to a rom-com.
So next year, I believe it'll be officially 20 years since 13 going on 30.
Jesus.
But this...
You had to say that. Okay.
But this movie, I think, is like a top-tier movie for many rom-com fans. It's like the #1. How many of you love 13 going on 30? And the love for it continues to grow. And so I would just love to know, like, how has it been for you seeing that love and seeing the love for that movie continue to grow?
Really surprising. I mean, Gary Winnick, God rest his soul, the director, he died of a brain tumor about maybe 10 years after we made it. He was a beautiful, like, independent film director. Like, never had done any kind of big movie. And just to show you how different the 13 going on 30 was to the movies that he made, his first movie was about a heroin addict. So you couldn't get a bigger spread of kind of career. And, we had this kind of very fluffy romantic comedy, and he said, I really want to do something. I want to do a romantic comedy, but I really wanted to have resonance and meaning to people, and not be cheesy and not be too easy. And he's like, I want to make it about unrequited love. I was like, great, a romantic comedy about unrequited love. He's like, yeah, like Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, yeah, you mean when everyone dies in the end? That'll be hilarious. And that's what he kind of set out to do. And he took this very kind of conventional romantic comedy script, and he made it about innocence, and he made it about what real love is, and how you have to work at that, and how that isn't easy. And he made it funny, and he made it about the loss of your childhood, and really, really personal themes that we're all dealing with at some point in our lives. And so he made this great romantic comedy that has survived all these years. And someone built a model of the dollhouse 10 years ago, and they brought it yesterday to be signed. I don't know if you're here. Are you here? No? Anyway, it was amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's the Avengers, and then it's 13 going on 30 as far as what people love about me. Except my kids. And that's my French toast. My daughters are like, so cheesy.
Do you have a favorite rom-com?
Probably like Breakfast at Tiffany's or something like that. Old school. There's one person who saw it. 55? 2. There's 2. 3. 4. Wow, a lot more. It's like 60. I like the old school stuff. It's, you know, that's what I grew up on. And I think all the new stuff we see has some connection back to that stuff, the good stuff. It's hard to make a romantic comedy. They're rarely romantic and rarely funny.
You think?
I pretty much think so. Most of the guys here think that too. Some of the ladies. See, she's clapping.
Now, you once mentioned in an interview that you have a punk rock soul. Yeah. So now I want to ask, what is the most punk rock thing you've done?
So, when I was a kid, punk rock was you know, dangerous. And it came a lot out of this kind of revolt against, well, it was the 80s, so there was a big revolt in the American punk movement against, like, Reaganism. And just that kind of right-wing cruelty. And so, you know, punk rock to me has always been kind of had this anti-establishment or this fighting for a kind of better world, right? And as I've gotten older, it's taken on different, you know, it was about music when I was a kid, and then it's just taken, when I say punk rock soul, it's just like, to me, it's just like fighting for the good things that are hard to fight for, that are just seem like impossible. I think the most punk rock thing I've probably done in the last decade was probably standing rock. As far as standing rock. It was just it was so intense, and, you know, it was like an American force standing against fellow Americans, and they were, I mean, they had like hardcore weaponry. I mean, it was like the front line was literally like being at war. And there were soldiers there with weapons of war, and this was a peaceful protest. And I'd never felt anything quite like that. So scary and like, what were we actually fighting about? What was the problem? It was like people who wanted to keep their water clean on one side and people who wanted to just make a lot of money on the other side. And that there was even some kind of a question about it, or that it had even gotten to the point where there was violence that was in question. That was punk rock. I mean, and being there was punk rock, and it was freezing cold, and you were living in tents, and you were, you know, trying to communicate with the rest of the world, where there was like a media blackout. I mean, it was as punk rock as you could possibly get. And so, yeah, it's a punk rock world we're living in right now.
And now, so this will be our last question, but then I do want to open it up to fan questions. If anyone would like to start lining up at the microphones at either side. So Mark, we're here at Comic-Con. There is so much to offer. There is, comics, there is movies, there's TV, there's anime, and all of that comes together at a show like this. And so I would like to ask you, what is something you are watching, reading, playing, something that you are doing right now that you really enjoy, that you're really enjoying?
My daughter Bella, who's my assistant here at Comic-Con.
Ooh, Bella!
Hey, Bella. She turned me on to I guess it's an it is an animated show, but it's called The Midnight Gospels.
Yeah.
And it's very, very probably esoteric for you guys. Some of you probably know it. But it's a mother talking about her, she knows she's dying, and she's talking to her son. And it's this beautiful kind of conversation that that really happened. He must have taped these conversations with his mother. She's dying of cancer. And it's this beautiful kind of meditation on their life together and the joy of their life together and existence. And it's all animated in the most wild, crazy, gifted, imaginative way. And so Bella turned me on to that. That's something that I think was really exciting to see, and something that that's something new that my kids have turned me on to.
So awesome. All right, we're gonna start over here. Hi, can you please tell us your name and what is your question?
Hey.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm from here in Seattle. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. My question is, if you had to face off against a supervillain in real life, and the only person you could take with you was another actor or actress from the MCU, who would be your first choice and who would be your last choice?
Are you trying to get me kicked out? Oh man. Well, my first choice would probably be Scarlett Johansson. Because you don't want to mess with her. I mean, she'll take anyone on and win, even Marvel. She's intense. And Groot. I mean, I just can't see a lot of uses for Groot. But that's a good way of me getting up. The guy had 2 lines, 1 line, and 2 words. And so he can't be that mad at me for giving him up. Although if I wasn't a foxhole, I wouldn't mind having him next to me. He's pretty swole. I hope that answers your questions.
Thank you.
We're gonna be here all day.
Hi, what is your name and what's your question?
Hi Mark, so my name is Conrad and I'm from Seattle. Honored to finally meet you and great job with Hulk. And I also, just so you guys know, I am a celebrity interviewer, so follow me on Instagram at Conrad Brown. So anyways, just I get out of the way.
Good plug.
I'm gonna ask you a question nobody probably has asked you, but what is like something you've always wanted to do on your bucket list?
Oh man. Probably, surf a really beautiful long right line in like Fiji, where it's warm, the water's warm, and you're on a point break, so you don't have to paddle very much. And it's just a perfect wall that just barrels so beautifully and gently. So when you get crushed, you don't really get crushed. It's like being wrapped in a warm towel. That's it. Okay?
Thank you.
Good job.
Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hey, good morning. I'm Sam. I'm originally from Tennessee, but I'm moving to Portland after 4 years overseas in Guam. My question is, after, like you mentioned earlier, the cast of the Avengers is kind of like a family. How is it like behind the scenes after losing Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. In the most recent Avengers film?
Sad. But there is a time machine. And there are alternate universes and realities and dimensions. So like anything could happen.
So you're saying that's not the last time we see him?
One of these boards gonna fall down. That one's right. Barry? Man, are you trying to get me in trouble again? I'm not gonna say it's not possible. But I'm not gonna say it is. Thanks, man. Welcome.
Hello, what is your name and what's your question?
Are you a She-Hulk?
No, I'm Poison Ivy, but still green,
So
still
good,
there.
yeah.
So my name's Megan, I'm from Tacoma, Washington, and my question is, you played many versions of the Hulk from Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and then my personal favorite, Professor Hulk. Throughout these versions, which has been your favorite to portray?
Oh man, that's like asking me what kid of mine is my favorite. Sorry, Bella. I mean, they're like all kind of like right for me at any time. Like in the beginning, I was just so full of rage, and so like raging Hulk was like really like at my appetite. And then as I've gotten older and mellowed out, like Professor Hulk has been really fun to play. I mean, the fun thing about Professor Hulk, which I know some of you feel like we totally nerfed Hulk, was just seeing who that guy was, you know, because we only saw him when he was angry, so we never got to see him do anything else. And so getting to explore Hulk as like more of a relatable character, that's been really fun for me. But I would look forward to going back to just the raging Hulk again, for those guys who felt like we nerfed Hulk. But they've all, you know, they've all been like really fun for me, and like I said, they at any particular moment, like each time we've done it, sort of fit what I wanted to say with the character at that particular time, or what I felt like the world maybe wanted to see from that character at that particular time. I know that was a total like.
That was good, thank you.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, I'm Rowan, I'm from Richmond. As an actor, you've played a whole wide range of things. I was wondering if there's a specific role or kind of role that you haven't gotten to play that you'd really love to play at some point.
I haven't played a lot of bad guys. I mean, I played like guys who are on the edge, you know, like questionable guys, but I haven't gotten to play a lot of bad guys. And they're just a-holes, you know. They have so much more fun in the world, it seems like. They can just do anything, you know, and then they become president. That could go for any president, by the way. That's not a particular president. But they seem to just have more fun. They can do whatever they want, you know? And it's hard to be a good guy in the world these days. Like, you're a jerk off if you're a good guy in the world. But playing a bad guy would be fun. I sort of just did, I did Mickey 17, which is with Robert Pattinson. Yeah, that's director Blong did that, did Parasite, and that's kind of that's going in that territory. And then this Yorgos Lanthimos movie, Poor Things, has a little bit of that too. So it'd be fun to just break free that way. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Adil. I'm from India, but now I work here in Seattle. One thing, my first tattoo was the Avengers tattoo that the rest of the cast got. So I'm the sixth one, you're not.
I can't show you. I'll get canceled.
My question is, if you could choose any Marvel character from the live action movies or the comics, who would you want to do like a buddy cop series or like movies with?
Well, I'm soft spot for Chris Hemsworth. So I keep waiting for them to invite me back to the Thor franchise to save it. That's a joke. I'm canceled.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here, by the way.
Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Mariah. I'm from Linwood, Washington. I'm actually asking this question for my mom, who adores you. Her advice, she wants to know what advice would you give young people in general?
What's your mom's name?
Deanne.
Okay. Tell Deanne we said hello. Do you have your phone on?
Yeah.
All right, good. Oh, man, that's tough because I don't even know what I would tell myself. I mean, raising 3 kids, 3 teens who like seen it all and like more than any kid should have to see in a lifetime. I would just say, first of all, it's tough to be a kid these days, and we have to acknowledge that for you guys. I'd say keep the faith. You know, I know things look a little tough and bleak, and there's not a lot of good news out there. But mankind, womankind, humankind sort of finds its way in time. And to really invest in your relationships, because that's really all that matters. And I'm talking about all your relationships, your relationship to the natural world, as much as your relationships to your friends and your family. Because those are the things that are at 55 years old, which no kid really cares about what I'm saying right now. Those are the things that really mean something, and all the rest of it is noise. So develop yourselves, find your voice, try not to compare yourself too much on social media if you can, because compare leads to despair. And young women, I mean, we are going to win this fight of equality. I mean, we have to. You deserve it. You know, we're not going backwards. It might feel like we are, but we're not. You know, time does not do that. We march forward. Martin Luther King said it's a justice of the arch time. And so that's what we have to, we're here, people are here for that. You're not alone. All right.
Hello, hi, what's your name? What's your question?
My name's Paul. I'm here with my son Lucas, and we're both big fans of yours.
Hey, Lucas.
And we're both teachers, and we have kind of a similar question because we both have students that love the Hulk, but we want to bring them a message about like how can they be heroes in real life, like heroes to other people, and get involved and make a difference like you do with activism and things like that?
Yeah, get involved. It's always good to take the focus off yourself and put it on something else. Whatever that might be, whatever turns you on, whatever makes you feel good, not in a bad way. Get outside your box and have a mind to help out. Just help out a little. Even if it's just, helping someone carry their groceries or, I don't know, help mom fold the laundry, do the dishes, I don't know, help out. Get out of yourself, Do something for somebody else. Just that simple thing is such a gift for both people. It can change your day, it can change the course of your life. So that's what I'd say.
Thank you for explaining
Hi.
Hi, my name is Quinn and I am originally from Brooklyn, but I'm living in Manhattan right now. My question for you, what was your favorite scene when you were working in Infinity War that you worked on?
Gosh, man, that was a long time ago for my 55-year-old brain. I think the Hulkbuster stuff was a lot of fun for me to do. I was alone in that, and we were, it was like one of those things where you're just struggling. We couldn't figure it out. We were struggling. And then we finally hit on it, but there was a lot of improvisation in there. There was trying to figure out what the relationship between Hulk and Banner was, which hadn't, while they were there, almost in a dialogue with each other. And so that was all emerging in that moment, and that was exciting, and that kind of laid the groundwork for what would happen in Endgame. We didn't know what Endgame was going to be, really, how that was going to start. We changed the whole beginning of Endgame because of how we ended Infinity War, which we'd already been halfway shooting. We'd already shot a bunch of, we shot most of Endgame before we came up with the finish for Infinity War. So I'd say that was probably the most fun for me. Sure.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
My name's Matthew. I'm from Duval, Washington. My question for you is, over the years, Bruce Banner and Hulk have been played by other actors, Eric Bana and Edward Norton. What do you think it is about your rendition of the character that has resonated with fans for so many years?
I don't know, those guys are really good. So when Joss Whedon came to me, he was like, hey, listen, I want to do a different take on this. And I said, I was like, well, the hard thing about the Hulk is like, all we want him to do is Hulk out, and we spent like an hour and a half just watching a guy not want to do what we want him to do. And that's really hard to pull off. So I don't know how, and he's like, I want him to be more aware of it, And so he came up with that scene with him and Black Widow. And he slipped it to me. I'm going to get him in trouble too, but I wasn't supposed to be able to read any of the script, and he slipped it to me. And I read that scene, and it was so funny, and Banner was so self-aware of his own situation, and he even says, he even toys with the idea that he's going to turn into the Hulk, And I thought that was the key to make that work. And the way, I just think, first of all, the CGI is so much better. And so we have that going for us in a way that, you know, there's not a lot of, you really sense the continuity of Banner into Hulk. You really can feel Banner inside of Hulk. And Hulk, well, you don't see Hulk at all in Banner. But I think that also helped make it much more enjoyable and just work much better as a show and character.
Hi, I'm Brittany from Puyallup, and I was just wondering, when you came in as Hulk, you were, you know, recast. It was previously Edward Norton. Did you have any conversations with Edward Norton about that? And if so, like, how was that? How'd that go?
Awkward. No, I mean, I didn't talk to him, but I reached out to him, as we do now when we don't want to talk. And I was like, hey man, and he's like, no, it's fine. I mean, it was weird. It was even weirder when Robert Downey Jr. at Comic-Con, when introducing me, said, and now reprising the role of the Hulk is Mark Ruffalo. And they were like, yeah! Huh? But, you know, I don't know how, you know, attached to it Ed was, you know, ultimately. I think he was like, oh, thank God. Let Ruffalo deal with it. But he's been beautiful, we're friends, it's never come up as an issue, and, you know, I'm blessed.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey there, my name is Jean Marie. I'm from here in Seattle. My favorite role or roles of yours absolutely broke me. How emotional was it filming This Much Is True?
Thank you. I know this much is true. So the secret of not dying while shooting something like that is just to keep it kind of fun between takes and keep it light. But you know, that movie has a lot of mental illness in it, of course, and how family deals with that, and you know, I'm sure a lot of us have mental illness in our family somewhere or another, and so I really related to those characters, and I'm Italian, and you know, my family like really had to fight. I'm only a first generation Italian, second generation Italian. My family really had to fight to make it here in the United States, and that's a big theme of that movie, of that show. So it was something I really cared about, related to my own family.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi. Okay. Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm from Seattle. I'm a big fan.
Thanks, Charlie. Thank you.
And next, so how does it feel to be the Hulk in Bruce Banner, as in the character? And also, how does it physically feel like to wear like a big suit that the animators have to animate into the Hulk?
It feels really good to play it because I'm around the best people in the world doing it, and the rest of the Avengers, and then the filmmakers. So the big suit is literally what you're wearing, but with a lot of little like bicycle reflectors on it. And I don't know how you feel, but I felt naked most of the time. But you look way better than I do. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. What about that? Yes. Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of yours now.
Hello.
Hey. Hey.
I'm Terry from the Seattle area.
Hi, Terry.
I'm wondering, what is the craziest or funniest thing that happened behind the scenes when you were filming the movies?
Oh boy. The craziest thing that happened. When we were doing the Avengers and the big monsters were coming, the first Avengers, I ran away, which was kind of crazy. Well, there was one day where we were shooting a scene, and it was all the Avengers. We were all in it. It was when we were doing Age of Ultron, and everyone had a little monologue. We're all in it. It's a big scene. We're trying to figure out, where Ultron is. And I was looking down when I started the scene, and I'm maybe halfway through it. And we start doing the scene, and we shot a wide shot, and everyone was there. And that was so exciting to see all the Avengers in the scene together. And then we started to do close-ups coverage, and I was looking down, drawing on my piece of paper that I was doing in the scene. And I hear the Avengers talking, but it's different voices. And I look up, and everyone's gone, but Scarlet, there's a guy kind of dressed like Chris Hemsworth, holding a script, saying his lines. There's a guy kind of dressed like Robert, holding his everyone's there but me. Everyone's gone. And they have a stand-in except me, Scarlet, and Sam Jackson. And the take goes, and I'm like, what? And the cut, and I'm like, yo, Scarlet, is this how we roll now? And the first thing he said, what's up? And I was like, I was just wondering where everybody is. And he's like, oh, bro, they had to go work out. Oh yeah, right. No, yeah, cool. Yeah, of course. Duh. So I said, Sam, thank you guys, thanks for staying for my close-up. Sam's like, motherfucker, as soon as I'm off camera, I'm out of here. That was crazy. That was the craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
About it other than Tilda Swinton leading it. So is the show still in production, or has anything changed? I know HBO's been kind of cutting their shows down, so.
I don't know, actually, that I was never officially attached, and there was some question about, me playing a Korean that was, made some people uncomfortable. And so it sort of backed off from me in that part, because I was going to play the father, Song Joon's part. And so I don't really know what happened to that. But Bong is doing another thing with Adam McKay that I do think, that's at HBO, that I do think is moving forward in the same vein as Parasite. So yeah, so I do expect to see some iteration of that happen. And if Bong Joon-ho asks me to do anything with him, I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for Mickey 17.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's fun. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Danny, and you're so great. I'm such a big fan.
Thank you.
I am from Linwood, Washington, and my question would be, with playing the Hulk for such a long time, is there anything that you relate to in any version of the Hulk on a personal level? Thanks.
That's my secret. I think we all probably, little kids that really relate to the Hulk because they're all just like, everyone's always telling them, don't, stop it, don't do that, you break things, you're out of control, you know. That was my whole childhood, and much of my teens. That anger, that, you know, that unexpressed anger, as nice as I might seem, but my kids would probably tell you I could be angry. That's always been, you know, something that I've related to, especially when I was younger. I mean, I'm getting older and mellower, but as a young actor, I've told this story before, I had like posters in the weirdest places in my apartment because there were holes in the wall from like coffee mugs and fists and, you know, from being rejected constantly and just being angry and having to express that anger. So I relate to that. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Hector. I'm from California, but right now I live nearby DuPont, Washington. So this is kind of a weird question. I don't know if you know this, or if you know him personally, but once he's done Volume 3, James Gunn will be doing full-time at DC. So since you were a part of the MCU and it's been massively successful, and DC seems to be like starting all over again, what is some friendly advice you would give DC if they really are going to start over from scratch? Friendly advice, yeah. Their competition.
I would say hire James Gunn. Because nobody does it better. And Marvel should be, you know, sweating. Because James Gunn is a really gifted filmmaker. And I think he's going to be amazing for that franchise.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Holly. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I've been a fan of yours for most of my life, but the first time I ever saw you on screen was in this show, an episode of this show called, it's one of my favorite shows of all time, called Due South.
Yeah, that was my first job.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I was wondering if you had any memories from that time or just from that period of your career.
Oh my God, I was like, no one would hire me for so long. So they finally hired me, and of course it was in Canada. I mean, it was magical because I'd been dying to, you know, work and get paid to do it. What's most memorable about that was after it aired, my grandfather, who'd basically written me off because I was an actor. I mean, nobody made it as an actor. That's the constant. That's what I constantly heard from my entire family, except my mom and dad, thank God. He called me, and we had those, you know, voice message machines back there. So I came home. You checked your message once a day, you know, and it was my grandfather, and he was really, he was so moved that he was like crying. And he was like, you made it. I never thought you had it in you. I wanted to be an actor too. And I just never thought you could do it. Just because you're so boring. I added that. I'm sorry, Grandpa. But it made a great story. And that was really like huge for me, you know, to have that kind of blessing from him. So that's what stands out for me. But those guys were great. They were so kind to me. They just embraced me, and they knew it was my first job, and it was kind of a chunky role to have as a first job. Yeah. So yeah. Check out Due South. Bye. Thank you.
Lake Stevens, Washington.
Hey, Jeff.
You know, us out here, we see things from a certain point of view. You know, always hear about stories of celebrities and such, but I'm wondering if you could give a brief recap of your point of view from the events that led up to the accidental streaming of Thor.
Crap. So at that point, Instagram Live, I think it was, or Instagram had a live filming thing, but it was weird because you pushed a button to record, then you pushed a button to stop recording, then you had to push another button to stop recording. And so I was backstage, they wanted me to do this new Instagram thing backstage, so I'm backstage like an idiot grandpa. And I was like, oh, stop. And I hit the button, and I put the phone in my pocket, and they were like, come on, you gotta run, we're gonna sit down. And I sat down, and I'm sitting there, and of course it's recording, and my phone's blowing up. Everyone I've ever known that has my phone number was texting me saying, WTF, bro, you're still live streaming. And I was annoyed. I mean, I was like, what's going on, you know? And this woman comes and she stands and she taps me on the shoulder and she's like, it's on. And I was like, yeah, it's right here. Yeah. She's like, it's on. I'm like, no, it's not, it's off. She's like, it's on. And then another person ran down and was like, dude, you're live streaming. And I got a call from Kevin Feige. He's like, what was that? Come on. You have to do better. And I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I messed up. And the next day, I came to work, we were doing press, and I see Feige, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, are you kidding me? We got more press coverage from that than anything we were able to do. Dude, you're a genius. That's the whole story. I didn't embellish that. Thank you. Thank you for waiting.
Unfortunately, this is going to have to be our last question.
Oh, I'm lucky then.
Yes, you are.
I'm also Jeff. I'm from Olympia.
And
it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you. You're one of my favorite actors of all time, especially those that came from the 2000s, had their big break. You have worked on so many films before and since the MCU, outside of it.
Thank you.
You know, You Can Count on Me, Zodiac, Eternal Sunshine, Spotlight,
Sing It.
All great films with incredibly talented directors. You even mentioned Vaughn and Yorgos, that's coming down the line. Who is your, of all those people, who are the ones that you love working with the most, that when they call, you drop everything to work with again?
You know, David Fincher, who did Zodiac, I think he just got a César Award in France. I think he's one of the all-time greats. I wish he'd come calling. I'm like waiting by the phone. And there's just so Kenny Lonergan. I'd do anything with him, you know. Bong, Yorgos, I'd do anything with him. The brothers, I'd do anything. I mean, there's so many. I've had such good experiences with people, you know. And I love filmmaking, and I love that you love filmmaking. So I really appreciate that you know those films. A lot of people don't. I really appreciate it, Jeffrey. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate all